I realized that my wife was cheating on me when I took FaceTime on her phone and saw her naked lover with roses. Be me, 34 years old, started on my birthday, not expecting much, just quiet dinner with Sarah. Maybe bottle of wine and lazy movie night. Not in honeymoon phase anymore, but things seemed stable. Or so I thought. Walk through door that evening, arms loaded with takeout from our favorite place. Trying to make night special. Got her favorite wine. Even got those spicy tuna rolls she rarely lets herself have. House eerily quiet when I come in. Strange because she always has music or TV on. Even for mundane stuff like folding laundry. Call out, Sarah, you home? Expecting her usual sarcastic comment about me being late. Nothing. Head upstairs thinking maybe she's getting ready. Door to bedroom cracked open. About to push it when I hear something. Freezes me mid-step. Laughter. Sharp, almost familiar. Like it belonged to someone else. A Sarah I didn't know. Heart rate shoots up. Palms instantly sweaty. Instinct tells me something isn't right. Curiosity pushes me forward. Nudge door wider. My world tilts. There she is. Lounging on bed in robe I bought for our anniversary. Phone propped up on pillow. FaceTiming some guy. Robe barely holding on. More for decoration than function. Scene feels surreal. Like stumbled into someone else's life. She hasn't noticed me yet. Guy's voice comes through phone. I'll see you this weekend, babe. We can pick up where we left off last time. My stomach lurches. Where we left off last time. She smiles. Real smile. Kind she hasn't given me in ages. Of course, I've been thinking about you all day. Her voice sickly sweet. Tone she used to say for me. Back when we first started dating. Before everything got mechanical. Don't even realize I'm standing there like statue. Until her eyes flick up to mine. Color drains from her face. She fumbles to grab phone. Too late. I've already seen everything. Mike, it's not what it looks like. Her voice trembling. Panic in her eyes betrays her. Can see gears spinning. Trying to come up with ridiculous excuse. The fact she even tries to spin this is insulting. Who the hell is that? My voice low. Not even sure if want to hear answer. Her lips part like she's going to speak. Nothing comes out. Just silence. That silence louder than any explanation. No explosive confrontation. No screaming. No throwing things. Just stand there staring at her. Trying to make sense of pieces of life I thought we had. She's frozen. Still gripping phone like lifeline to her secret world. Turn around. Walk out. Shut door behind me without another word. That's when real storm begins. Leave house that night. Mind spinning. Body moving on autopilot. Don't remember grabbing car keys. Don't remember how long I drove. Somehow end up at David's place. Must have looked like I'd seen ghost. His face goes serious immediately. What happened? He asks. Pulls me inside before I can speak. Sit down on his couch. Still gripping steering wheel in my mind. Replaying scene of Sarah sprawled on our bed. Talking to some guy like I don't exist. Tell David everything. The FaceTime call. The robe. The way her face changed when she saw me. Can barely get words out. Voice cracking from weight of it all. He sits across from me. Silent. Absorbing everything. When I finally finish, he leans forward. Face mixture of shock and anger. So what are you going to do? You confronted her, right? No, I mutter. Just walked out. He blinks like he didn't hear right. You just left? What was I supposed to do, David? Start yelling? Throw stuff? Feels like nightmare. Don't even know who she is anymore. David doesn't answer right away. Rubs his face, clearly trying to figure out what to say. But there's nothing that would fix this. Nothing could take away image of her. Calling someone else babe, while sitting in same bed we'd shared for years. Next few days are blur. Avoid going home as much as possible. Crash on David's couch. Come up with excuses to stay late at work. But eventually have to go back. House feels like stranger's place now. Cold. Quiet. Half expect Sarah to try smoothing things over. Maybe some lame attempt at apology. Open door. First thing I see is note on counter. Mike, we need to talk. I'm not going to let you ignore me forever. Stare at note. Feel blood boil. Talk. She acts like I'm one avoiding her. After what she'd done. Crumple paper. Throw it in trash. We don't need to talk. Nothing she could say would make this better. Except that wasn't true. Did want answers. That evening, finally, confront her. She comes home like nothing happened. Heels clicking on hardwood floor. Hair perfect as usual. Fake smile plastered on face. Makes my skin crawl. Stand in kitchen as she casually pours water. Who was that guy? She pauses. Hand frozen mid-pour. Slowly sets glass down. Turns to face me. Think I see flicker of guilt in her eyes. Gone as quick as it appeared. It's not what you think, she says. Voice controlled. Like she practiced this 100 times. He's just a friend. Let out bitter laugh. Sound harsh even to my own ears. A friend? That's what you call it now? You were practically undressing for him over FaceTime. Her face tightens. Lips press into thin line. Mike, you don't understand? No, Sarah, interrupt her. My patience running thin. I understand perfectly. You're lying to me? Have been for God knows how long? She steps closer, eyes narrowing. Don't try to twist this. You haven't exactly been the perfect husband either. My jaw clenches. Are you seriously trying to blame me for this right now? Her voice gets louder, sharp like she wants to cut me with it. You haven't been around? Always at work or with your stupid friends. What did you expect? I was lonely. Stand there stunned, trying to wrap head around audacity. She's spinning it, twisting blame onto me, acting like her choices were somehow my fault. Feel rush of heat, anger bubbling up from deep inside. So that's it? Ask quietly. Barely keeping control. You cheat on me because you were lonely? What, you couldn't talk to me? You had to run to some random guy? She scoffs, crosses arms defensively. Don't act like you're some saint, Mike. You barely notice me anymore. Can't believe what I'm hearing. She's talking in circles, deflecting, refusing to take responsibility. Every word makes me feel like losing grip on reality. Worst part, she says it all with zero remorse. That's when I realize, not talking to my wife anymore. Whoever this woman is, she isn't Sarah. At least not Sarah I thought I knew. As I stare into her cold eyes, no, this isn't something I can fix? Not now. Maybe not ever. Thought confrontation would bring clarity. Maybe hearing her twisted version would help decide what to do. But if anything, makes things worse. More I replay her words in head. Angrier I get, she hadn't just cheated. She'd rewritten our whole relationship in her mind. Made me villain in story where she gets to play victim. Beyond insulting. Few days after ugly conversation. Decide need to clear head. Sitting in house with memories stitched into every corner. Suffocating me. Go for run. Hope pounding pavement might burn off rage. Settled deep in bones. When get back. Drenched in sweat. There she is. Sitting at kitchen table. Phone in hand. Typing away like has all time in world. Feel tension in air moment step inside. Barely got foot through door. We need to talk about this, she says. Not even looking up from phone. Voice flat like she's bored already. Yank earbuds out. Heart still racing from run. But anger in chest doesn't ease up. Toss keys onto counter. Stare at her. Wait for her to say something. That makes any kind of sense. You can't keep ignoring me, she continues. Still focused on screen. We're both adults. We should deal with this like adults. Can't help but laugh. Adults, repeat word. Feels foreign on tongue. You're talking about being adult now? After everything? She sighs, finally looks up, eyes narrowing as leans back in chair. Mike, this isn't end of world, okay? People make mistakes. You're blowing this way out of proportion. Feel something snap inside. A mistake? That's what you're calling it now? You've been seeing some other guy behind my back, lying to my face, and now you're acting like I'm overreacting? Her eyes roll so hard thought they'd get stuck. It's not like I slept with him or something. Really? Ask, crossing arms. Feel muscles tense. How stupid do you think I am? Sarah stands up, chair scraping against floor, walks to sink, pours glass of water, acting casual, like we're not discussing complete destruction of our marriage. Makes me feel like losing my mind. I don't know what you want from me, Mike, she says. Take sip. I already told you it was a mistake. I was lonely. You weren't around. I needed someone to talk to. Talk to? You mean undress for on FaceTime? Voice shaking now, bitterness bubbling over. God, you're so dramatic, she snaps. Finally turns to face me fully. If you're so miserable, then maybe we shouldn't even be doing this anymore. For a moment, just stare at her. Woman standing in front of me. Not woman I thought I'd married. This isn't some fight we're going to patch up. Not something we'd laugh about years from now. This is ugly, raw truth staring me in face. She doesn't give damn about what she'd done. Not even pretending to be sorry. What do you mean doing this? Ask quietly. Try to keep voice steady. Her eyes meet mine. For first time, see something flicker there. Something cold. Calculating. She leans against counter, crosses arms. Maybe we should just end it, Mike. You clearly don't trust me. I'm tired of having to defend myself. Over something that was honestly your fault to begin with. Feel like been punched in gut. My fault? Repeat in disbelief. Her lips curl into slight smirk. Like just figured out how to win this twisted game. Yeah, you've been emotionally checked out for months. You think I didn't notice? All those late nights? All those hours spent with your friends or working? You left me alone in this marriage. You did this. Can't believe what hearing. She just flipped entire narrative, putting blame squarely on me for her betrayal. Stand there, heart pounding, struggling to find right words. But none come. All can think about how utterly detached she seems, like this isn't our life she's talking about, but some minor inconvenience. She's finally tired of dealing with, wow, whisper. Shaking head. You really don't care, do you? She doesn't flinch. Look, Mike, maybe it's time we both admit this isn't working anymore. Maybe we're not meant to be together. Words hang in air between us like fog. Part of me knows she's right. This isn't working? We're not meant to be together. Not like this. But hearing her say it so casually, like talking about canceling gym membership, makes skin crawl. Don't respond. Don't have energy. Instead, grab coat from back of chair. Head for door. Where are you going? She asks. Voice sharp. Turn back just for a second. To clear my head? Try not to invite your friend over while I'm gone. Slam door behind me. When leave house that night, not sure where going. All know is need to get away from her. From toxic energy in that house, every word Sarah said still buzzing in head. This isn't working. Maybe we're not meant to be together. Find myself driving aimlessly. Cold night air whipping through cracked window. End up at random bar on outskirts of town. Kind of place where no one asks questions. Can sit quietly with thoughts, drowning in cheap whiskey. Sit down. Order drink. Just stare at glass. Amber liquid swirls slowly as turn glass in hand. Can't bring myself to take sip. Thinking about last time Sarah and I were truly happy. When had things gone so wrong? Had I really been so blind? So checked out like she said? But no matter how hard try to dissect it, one thing clear, she'd made choice. This wasn't just some slip-up. She was done with us. Could see it in way she spoke to me. Cold detachment in her eyes. No remorse. No sign she even wanted to fix things. She was already halfway outdoor. I was just idiot standing in way. Take sip. Burn of alcohol doing little to calm fire in chest. As sit there lost in thoughts, phone buzzes in pocket. Hesitate before pulling it out. Fully expect it to be Sarah, with another attempt to twist knife deeper. But when see name on screen, heart stops for moment. Email from Sarah. Confused. Open it. Mind racing through 1,000 possibilities. Is this her way of apologizing? Message she couldn't bring herself to say in person? But what read is something far more shocking. Subject line reads, I should have told you the truth a year ago. Hands tighten around phone as read opening line. Mike, I know you hate me right now. And you have every right to. But before we move on, I need to tell you something. I've been hiding for past year. Blink, trying to make sense of it. A year? What hell was she talking about? She keeps going, spilling out everything, like confession boiling beneath surface for months. Remember that business trip to Chicago last year? It wasn't business trip. I met him then. We've been seeing each other since. Never wanted it to get this far. But here we are. I thought if I kept it hidden, it wouldn't hurt you. But I was wrong. I'm sorry. Words hit like freight train. Breath leaves lungs. Stare at screen. Vision going blurry around edges. This wasn't just recent thing. Wasn't moment of weakness? Had been happening for year. Whole damn year of lies. Sneaking around. Living double life while I had no idea. Been fool. Shock gives way to rage. Mind racing. Trying to comprehend how someone could be so heartless. All time she'd smiled at me. Kissed me. Shared bed with me. Knowing she had someone else waiting in shadows. Then it hits hard. All those business trips. Sudden weekends away. Unexplained late nights. All been part of same lie. This elaborate game she'd been playing, while I'd been too blind. Too trusting to see it. Want to smash something. Scream. Do anything to release fury building inside. But instead just sit there numb. Can't even find strength to move. Bar around me fades into background. Noise of laughter and clinking glasses. Feeling like coming from another world entirely. Living in nightmare. Worst part, don't know how to wake up. Read email over and over again. Each time feeling fresh wave of anger and betrayal. Feels like sick joke. Confession dumped in lap when she knew couldn't run from it. Kind of bombshell that doesn't just end marriage. Destroys everything thought knew about person built life with bartender must notice look on face. Comes over cautiously. You all right, man? Blink. Realize gripping edge of bar so tightly knuckles white. Yeah, mutter. Barely recognize own voice. Just had long day. That was understatement. Truth was world had just shattered. No idea how to put pieces back together. As sit there in dim light of bar. Realize this is it. The breaking point. No fixing this. No talking it out. No going back. Sarah made her choices long before ever caught her on that FaceTime call. Now I'm one left to pick up wreckage. Down rest of drink. Feel alcohol burn its way down throat. Stand up to leave. Walk out of bar into cold night. Know what have to do. This is the end. Drive around for hours, city lights blurring into endless stream. Mind replaying her email? Like some sick highlight reel. A year of lies. How many times had she smiled at me, kissed me, laughed at my stupid jokes, while knowing her heart and body belonged to someone else? Get home. House is dark. She's either out or pretending to sleep. Honestly, don't care. Walk straight past bedroom. Don't even look inside. Grab blanket from closet. Crash on couch. Don't sleep? Not really. Lay there staring at ceiling. Email's words glowing in mind like neon signs. I never wanted it to get this far, but here we are. Realize something in those quiet hours of night. Sarah isn't just done with our marriage. She's been done for a long time. Been checked out, playing house while living whole other life behind my back. I've been placeholder in her routine. Husband who didn't ask too many questions. Didn't suspect thing. That hurts more than betrayal itself. Feel like been sleepwalking through own life. Next morning decide enough is enough. Can't live like this? Wondering what was real. Who she really was. How long she'd been laughing behind my back. Take first step in what feels like long overdue decision. Call divorce lawyer. Walking into that office feels surreal. Like about to officially declare war on everything built over past 7 years. Attorney is middle-aged woman. Sharp eyes. No nonsense attitude. Greets me with firm handshake. Her office sleek. All glass and steel. Heavy books line shelves. Like they hold secrets to 100 other broken marriages. So, she says after usual pleasantries. What brings you in today? Take deep breath. Try to keep voice steady. Lay it all out. The affair, the lies, the email. By time finish, she's nodding slowly. Pen scratching across yellow legal pad. Do you have any proof? She asks. Glancing up at me. Hesitate. Proof? Only thing have is damn email. And memory of seeing her draped across our bed. FaceTiming her lover like I was distant memory. Tell her about email. That should help, she says. Leaning back in chair. It might not be enough to turn divorce into victory lap, but it will definitely put things in your favor. Especially if we're talking about alimony or assets. Hadn't even thought that far ahead. About money, the house, everything we'd accumulated together. It wasn't about that for me. It was about getting out, escaping from this nightmare. That had swallowed up my life. She continues, voice calm and professional. You're making right decision. Infidelity is one of few clear-cut reasons for divorce courts actually care about. You'll have leverage, especially if she tries to make things messy. Nod, though, feel like floating outside own body. Divorce. Word feels heavy, like it doesn't quite belong in my life, but here I am, sitting in lawyer's office, planning how to dismantle marriage piece by piece. It's surreal. As leave lawyer's office, sky is overcast, fitting for mood settled over me. Not angry anymore, at least not in fiery, immediate way. More like exhaustion, deep, bone-crushing fatigue. Tired of thinking about her, about lies, about what been going on behind my back. Just want it to be over. Want to wake up one day, not feel like entire life flipped upside down. But no hardest part still to come. Have to tell her. Have to be one to look her in eye and say words. I'm done. That night come home earlier than usual. Want to get this over with. Walk in. Sarah sitting at kitchen table, scrolling through phone like nothing happened. Looks up when come in. Face neutral. Like we're not standing at edge of cliff. Mike, she says. Almost casual. We should talk. Stand there for a moment, looking at her, trying to remember version of her used to love. Version that didn't treat me like spare tire. But that version long gone? Yeah, reply. Voice calm but firm. We should. She raises eyebrow. Okay, what's on your mind? Walk over. Sit down across from her at table. Take deep breath. I want a divorce. Her eyes widen. For second think see genuine surprise. Like she didn't see this coming. Sets phone down slowly, like processing what just said. A divorce? She repeats. Voice flat, like testing out word. Yes, say meeting her gaze directly. I'm done. You're done. This is over, Sarah. She blinks, then tilts head slightly, that smirk threatening to return. Is this because of that guy? I already told you it wasn't serious. Shake head. Feel strange calm wash over me. It's not just about him. It's about everything. You've been lying to me for a year. Been living double life. Can't be part of it anymore. Her expression shifts. Flicker of something close to annoyance crosses face. You're overreacting, she mutters. Leaning back in chair. We've had rough patches before. And we got through them. This is no different. This is completely different, say. Voice harder now. You've been cheating on me, and you're still trying to twist this into something it's not. I can't do it anymore. She rolls eyes. Lets out long sigh, like this all major inconvenience for her. Fine if that's what you want. But don't think this is going to be easy. You'll regret this. Stand up. Look down at her one last time. I already regret every second. I wasted with you after you decided to cheat. Walk out of room, knowing no turning back now. This is end. Time to start over without her. After dropping divorce bombshell, house becomes war zone. Sarah doesn't take it well. Not that expected her to. Thought maybe, just maybe, there'd be shred of remorse. After told her I was done, but was wrong. What follows is tidal wave of manipulative tactics, accusations and emotional games. She isn't going to let go quietly. Day after tell her, Sarah starts pulling every trick in book. First tries to play victim card, like she's one who'd been wronged. That morning come down for coffee. There she is, sitting at kitchen table, red puffy eyes, not sure if real or staged. At this point don't care anymore. Mike, she says. Voice hoarse like been crying all night. I don't want to lose you. We can work through this. I know I messed up, but I'm willing to go to therapy. Do whatever it takes. We can fix this. Stare at her. Feel knot of frustration tighten in chest. Therapy now? After year of lies and betrayal? Time for therapy passed. Moment she started seeing that guy behind my back. Sarah, it's too late for that. Try to keep voice steady. You've been living lie for year. You didn't just make mistake. You built whole other life. I can't trust you anymore. She sniffles, wipes at eyes. I didn't mean to hurt you. I was lost, okay? I made stupid choices. But it doesn't have to end like this. We've been through too much together. To just throw it all away? Hearing her try to plead case, almost painful. Maybe part of me wanted her to beg, to show that she cared. But it all feels hollow now. Every word sounds like she's performing, trying to figure out what would get me to cave. Lean against counter, feeling drained. It's already over. You've made your choices, and I've made mine. Her face hardens. Vulnerability she was putting on melts away in an instant. True self comes roaring back. One who lied to my face for months. So that's it? You're just going to walk away? You think you're saint in all this? She stands up from table, voice rising. You weren't perfect either, Mike. You're always at work. Never home. Always too busy for me. What was I supposed to do? Sit around waiting for you to notice I exist? There it is, her classic move. Turn blame on me. Feel anger rising again, but this time force myself to stay calm. Not going to give her satisfaction. Of another argument. You had choice? Say quietly but firmly. Could have talked to me. Could have said something. Anything if you were unhappy. Instead you chose to cheat. She crosses arms, glaring at me. You're such hypocrite. You're not innocent in this either. Shake head, knowing this going nowhere. Believe whatever you want, Sarah. I'm not arguing with you anymore. Turn to leave, but her voice stops me cold. You're going to regret this. She spits, venom dripping from every word. You think you can just walk out of this marriage? Like it's nothing? I'll make sure you pay for this. Don't think for a second I'm going to let you walk away with everything. Her threat hangs in air, but I'm not scared. No, she'll try to make divorce messy as possible. But honestly, don't care. Ready for it. Whatever comes next, I'll deal with it. Already lost most important thing. Trust in her. Everything else just details. As days pass, Sarah's behavior becomes more erratic. One minute she's sweet, trying to make me reconsider. Making dinner, acting like perfect wife. Even texting during day like used to. When things were good, next minute she's ice cold. Snapping at smallest things. Threatening to drag me through brutal divorce. Making sure I know just how much she hates me for ruining her life. But I'm not biting. Already made decision. Not backing down. Start sleeping in guest room. Avoiding her much as possible. While wait for divorce process to begin. Even start spending more nights at David's again. Just to escape suffocating tension in house. Then one night, when thought things couldn't get crazier, they do. Come home late, after staying out with David. Trying to clear head, avoid minefield that was my home. Walk in. Notice something off immediately. House too quiet. Almost eerie. Head upstairs. Figuring Sarah asleep. That's when see it. Bedroom door cracked open. Inside, Sarah sitting on bed, FaceTiming someone. Not just anyone. Him. Same guy from first time caught her. One she'd been seeing for a year behind my back. She hasn't even bothered to stop. After everything, after all lies, arguments, promises. Here she is, still doing same thing. Sitting in same spot. She'd been in first time saw her with him. Can't believe it. Hands clench into fists. Stand in doorway. Staring at her. Not saying word. She doesn't even notice at first, too wrapped up in conversation. Then eyes flick up. When sees me standing there, she freezes. Guy's voice still coming through phone. Some stupid joke he's telling. That made her giggle, but now her smile drops. Replaced by panic? Mike, she stammers, quickly lowering phone. I wasn't... You never stopped, did you? Say and barely whisper. Filled with disbelief and disgust, she doesn't answer. Doesn't have to. Her silence all need to hear. Turn around without another word. Walk downstairs. Outdoor. This time not coming back. Walking out of house that night feels different. Not just escape from suffocating tension, or another attempt to clear head. This time it's final. Nothing left to salvage. Nothing left to talk about. Caught her red-handed again. Last shred of doubt about leaving her gone. Drive around in silence for a while. Mind strangely calm despite everything. No more guessing. No more worrying about what she might be hiding. Now know truth in all its ugly detail. Sets me free in way hadn't expected. Weight that been pressing down for months. Suddenly lifted. Replaced by cold clarity. No more room for sadness. No more room for rage. Just brutal reality. Sarah had never really cared. Been holding on to idea of her. Not reality. End up at hotel. Cheap. Nothing fancy. Late and not in mood for small talk. With front desk clerk. Pay in cash. Head up to room. When finally lay down on bed, phone buzzes on nightstand. Already know who it is. But for some reason pick it up. Sure enough, Sarah sent series of texts. Her emotions swinging wildly. From one extreme to next. Mike, I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking. Can we just talk? You don't understand. I didn't mean for it to go this far. This is your fault too, you know. You're the one who pushed me away. Fine if you want to walk away. From this marriage. Don't expect it to be easy. You'll regret it. Turn phone over without replying. Let it fall into silence of room. Let her rant. Let her spiral. Done being pulled into her toxic web. Next morning, meet with lawyer again. This time ready to move forward full speed. Divorce paperwork already drafted. Now, more than willing to push it through. Sit across from her in sleek office. For first time since nightmare began. Feel like in control again. We'll file by end of week. Lawyer says voice calm and matter of fact. Given infidelity you're in strong position, we can request fair split of assets. House will be key point of negotiation. But think we can make strong case for you. Nod though mind more focused on getting out. Then who would end up with house? House just bricks and wood. Doesn't mean anything anymore? Become reminder of everything gone wrong. Don't want it. Just want peace. As wrap-up meeting, feel strange sense of finality creeping in. End is close. No turning back. Few days later, things take even uglier turn. At work, trying to distract self. With mountain of emails piled up. When phone buzzes. This time not text from Sarah, but notification that stops me cold. Bank alert. $8,500 withdrawal. Heart starts racing. Haven't withdrawn anything close to that amount. Timing way too suspicious. Log into bank account. There it is. Sarah drained one of joint accounts. Feel familiar anger rising. This time not slow burn. Full on blaze. Call her immediately. Pulse pounding in ears. Picks up on second ring. Voice annoyingly calm. What do you think you're doing? Spit into phone. Barely able to contain myself. What do you mean? She replies. Feigning innocence. You took money out of our joint account. 8.5 grand, Sarah. You think I wouldn't notice? Oh, that, she says. Tone shifting to smug. Infuriatingly casual voice. Always uses when about to lie. I needed it for some things. We're still married, Mike. That's still our money. Hand clenches around phone. Have to take deep breath. Stop self from yelling in middle of office. You can't just take money without talking to me first. That's not how this works anymore. She sighs, like I'm being unreasonable. It's just money. Don't be so dramatic. You'll get your half when divorce is finalized. I'm filing today. Say voice steady but threat clear. And if you don't return that money by tomorrow, I'll make sure courts hear about this. Long pause on other end. Can almost hear mind working. Calculating next move. Fine, she finally says. Voice dripping with irritation. I'll transfer it back. But don't think this means you're getting away with everything. I have my rights too. Don't respond. Just hang up. Hands shaking. She's pushing every button she can find, trying to make process as painful as possible. But I'm not going to break. Not now. Not after everything. True to her word for once. Sarah transfers money back next day. But by then, already filed divorce papers. No more playing nice. No more pretending things could be civil between us. Gloves are off. Few days after paperwork submitted, Sarah shows up at house. While packing last of my things, Hadn't planned on being there when she came by, but she has knack for showing up when least want her around. She walks in like still owns place, heels clicking on hardwood floor. "So this is it?" she asks, leaning against door frame, watching me pack. "You're really leaving? Don't even look up. You made sure of that." She sighs, fake exaggerated sound. "It didn't have to be this way, Mike." Zip up last bag, turn to face her. "Yes, it did. You made your choices. Now I'm making mine." She rolls eyes, pushes off door frame, steps closer. "You'll regret this," she says. Voice low, almost whisper. "You'll miss me." Shake head, staring her down. "No, I won't." For first time in months. No, it's true. Nothing left to miss. As walk out of house for last time, leaving her standing there alone, feels strange sense of freedom. Not happiness. Not yet, but first step. Last chapter of life with Sarah closed. Ready to start new one that doesn't include her lies, her manipulation, her betrayal. For first time in long time, I'm free. Thought hardest part was behind me. After left Sarah standing alone in house, her threats and smugness fading into background. Divorce was in motion. Done with her games. Finally reclaimed piece of myself. That had been buried under months of lies. Ready to close that chapter for good. But then email came. Exactly year after filed for divorce. Right when starting to feel like rebuilding life. Moved into new apartment. Place that didn't have her ghost lurking in every corner. Thrown myself into work. Spent more time with friends. Even started dating casually. Just small steps back into world. Without her shadow over me. Hadn't heard from Sarah in months. Last time we'd spoken was in lawyer's office. Finalizing divorce. She'd signed papers with same detached expression. Always wore. Like none of this really mattered to her. Figured that was it. But then see her name pop up in inbox. Late at night, long after should have been asleep, mindlessly scrolling through phone. When notification buzzes, first almost don't open it. Part of me thinks just another attempt at manipulation. Something designed to pull me back into toxic orbit. But curiosity gets best of me. Subject line makes heart skip beat. I should have told you truth a year ago. Chest tightens as click on message. What could she possibly have to say? After everything, what more was there to confess? Start reading. Mike, I know this is probably last thing. You want to hear from me, and you have every reason to hate me after everything that happened. I don't expect you to forgive me, but there's something I need to tell you. It's been weighing on me for past year, and I can't keep it to myself any longer. I should have told you truth long time ago, but I was too much of coward. Feel pulse quicken. Strange chill runs down spine. Keep reading. Stomach sinking deeper with each word. When we started growing apart, I was already seeing someone else. You know that part, obviously. But what you don't know is that it wasn't just some fling. He was someone I had been seeing. Long before I even told you I was unhappy. Remember that trip I took to Chicago for supposed work conference? That was lie. I wasn't there for work. I was there with him. That's where it all started. We've been seeing each other since then. For over a year, I lied to you every single day. Stare at screen. Feel air leave lungs. Known she was cheating. But hearing her lay it out so coldly, so methodically, makes it feel like fresh wound. Whole year I'd been living in fantasy, while she'd been living double life, but worse part still to come. There's something else I need to confess. Something I've been avoiding telling you, because I didn't want to deal with consequences. But you deserve to know truth. I'm pregnant. And it's his, blink, eyes frozen on words. Pregnant. And it wasn't mine. Of course it wasn't. Hadn't touched her in months before divorce. She must have known for a while, maybe even when we were still married, yet she said nothing. Imagine her going through our daily routine, smiling at me, knowing all along she was carrying someone else's child. Hands shake as continue reading. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to hurt you more than I already had, but now I realized keeping this from you was just another way I failed. To take responsibility, you deserve to know whole truth. Even if it's coming year too late. Rest of email full of usual Sarah nonsense. Hollow apologies. Excuses about how she didn't mean for it to happen this way. How she hoped I could find it in myself. To move on. She wrote like this was just another minor detail. In wreckage of our marriage. Something I could just shrug off and forget about. But I couldn't. Not this. Room feels too small. Air too thick. Stand up. Pacing back and forth. Trying to process what just read. Year of betrayal wasn't enough. Now she was starting family, with same man who had destroyed mine, and she hadn't even had decency to tell me until it was too late for it to matter. She had walked away from our life, without second thought, already building new one behind my back. It wasn't just cheating. It was erasing me entirely. For a few minutes, just stand there, email glowing on phone, waiting for some kind of reaction to hit. Anger. Sadness. Maybe both. But instead, all feel is nothing. Deep, empty numbness. Like final blow had landed, and there was nothing left to feel. Want to throw phone. Scream. Something. But what's point? Damage already done. Nothing I do now would change it. Sarah had moved on. Now I had no choice but to move on too. For real this time. Close email. Hands still shaking slightly. Sit down on edge of bed. For long time stare out window. At city lights, trying to make sense of everything. But there was no sense to be made. This was end of road. Last chapter in story. That should have ended long ago. Don't reply to her email. Nothing left to say. Block her number. Delete message. Not because want to forget, but because need to be done. Completely done. If one thing learned from this whole nightmare, sometimes you don't get closure. Sometimes people who hurt you don't get what they deserve. Sometimes only way to heal is to walk away, even when there are still 1,000 questions left unanswered. So that's what I did, and for first time in long time, I felt free.